I, female 25, am getting married to my fiancé, Kevin, next month. My family loves Kevin, and Kevin loves them. However, my mom is the brutally honest type who constantly dishes out her opinions and thoughts on what people wear, how they look, how well off they are. Mostly negative, tasteless, backhanded comments. She says she can't help it and that no one should be offended when she's just being honest. When she met Kevin, she kept making comments about him, his car, his degree, etc. With time and strict conversations, I was able to get her to show some respect, but she kept annoying Kevin by constantly talking about his hairless face. His face is clean. He doesn't have a beard or mustache, which he can be very insecure about. He comes from Irish origin, so he's white. He has no facial hair, while I'm Hispanic. Mom makes jokes with her husband about how unmanly it is to not grow a beard or a mustache. Those comments hurt Kevin so much. I had a very, very stern conversation with her. She said, "Oh, I didn't realize those remarks were offending him. I was just teasing him." Or, "You know me. I'm just giving my humble, honest opinion, so he shouldn't take it personally and should learn that this is how I am." She ended up sincerely apologizing to Kevin, and we left it at that. As the wedding is approaching, Mom decided to give Kevin a wedding gift and let him know how sorry she was for her past behavior. She invited the whole family for dinner and decided it was the perfect time to hand Kevin his wedding gift. He thanked her, but she insisted that he open it right there and then and show everyone what she got him, since she knew him that well already. So he opened the box and found a set of shaving tools with shaving cream. Kevin stopped for a sec and kept staring at the gift. My stepdad took it and showed everyone. Then Mom and others started laughing, while stepdad kept saying, "You get the joke, Kev, you get it?" While my brother was running around the table laughing with everyone. Kevin got up and walked out. I was so mad I lost it on Mom, asking why she did that, and humiliated Kevin in front of everyone. She told me to relax. She was just messing with him. But I said she knew how he felt about this topic and demanded she apologizes. Still, she said no, since she wasn't responsible for his reaction and thought he would laugh along. I angrily said no apology, no wedding invitation, period, then walked out. She freaked out trying to say we overreacted to a joke. My brother said I was crazy to exclude Mom from my wedding over something so stupid. He said Kevin should get over it since it was a joke. Still, I refused to send an invitation and withheld it until or unless she apologizes. They think I'm unreasonable for choosing this to be my hill to die on and called me disrespectful for how I treated my mom. I'd like to point out that my brother and stepdad and uncle sometimes take part in teasing Kevin. For example, my brother, who's 31 years old, would sometimes brag about his goatee mustache in front of Kevin or tell an indirect silly joke about this topic, which would irritate Kevin and just spoil any family gathering we have. But Mom is the one who started this whole campaign, and I've already had conversations with her about it. Not the idiot. Tell your brother, mother, etc. that the whole wedding was rescheduled and at another venue. Then when they complain that they missed your wedding, just say, "It's a joke. You should get over it. I was just messing with you." What's entirely possible is that the wedding may be called off because the guy seriously rethinks whether he can spend his life being diminished by these idiots. OP is not only not the idiot, but if she doesn't step up and be 100% on his side here, then he'll never be able to trust her to be his supportive partner. Brutally honest is a lie people tell themselves when looking for an excuse to be brutal, and being deliberately brutal is always an idiot. Same thing with "it's a joke" when people do something deliberately cruel and then claim joke to excuse their cruelty. This is behavior that someone ought to be guided past by kindergarten. But if there's a difficult truth to be said, there is a kind and tactful way to say it. If it is a joke, it should bring delight and surprise, not pain. This woman would not enjoy my honest, humble opinion about her. I'm not going to call you an idiot. Your family all are, of course. But this is long since past the point where an apology means anything. You need to let them all know, not sure why you single her out since the rest are just as bad, that their behavior should change, or you are cutting them off completely. I am speaking for myself. I have too much respect for myself to put up with that crap. I will not be part of a dysfunctional family. I will not let anyone make jokes about the people in my life to put them down. If they were laughing with Kevin, it would be different, but instead they are laughing at Kevin. My daughter Zoe, nearly adult, has been planning a trip with her friends for weeks and asked for my wife's and my help with money. I promised her that I'll be paying for her part of the trip, which is about $80, from stuff she needs for the trip, food, and other expenses. Zoe appreciated this a lot, since she normally pays for trips and other fun things with her own money, but she left her summer job not too long ago. 2 days ago was my wife and my wedding anniversary. We planned to go out and celebrate in the evening, and I asked Zoe if she could watch her younger siblings while we're out. She said, "Sorry, I have plans for tonight." I asked her to elaborate, and she said she wanted to meet her best friend at a party before she leaves town, as her friend will be moving away this month. She suggested we get a babysitter, but it was already too late for me to call and arrange for a babysitter. My wife suggested calling my sister, but my sister has enough on her plate to be watching our kids. I tried to convince Zoe to skip going out and watch her brothers, but she refused and said my wife and I can stay home and celebrate. I told her we had already reserved a table at the restaurant. I was getting angry, and I brought up the trip that I was paying for and told her that I would take the money back if she refused to watch her brothers for the evening. She said no, and I told her no trip then, unless she gets money herself, because I'm no longer paying for it. She screamed at me, calling me unbelievable for taking money back, just because she wanted to attend her best friend's goodbye party and not wanting responsibility for her brothers. I refused to discuss it. Instead, I took the kids to my mother's house and left. My wife said I was too harsh on Zoe, especially since it's not her fault. She doesn't want to be responsible for her brothers for the evening. I was puzzled. I told her it's just one evening, but still my wife thought I punished Zoe over nothing by taking the money I promised for her trip. Zoe isn't speaking to me and is cold shouldering me because of this. So it's too late to call a babysitter, but it's fine to not give your daughter any notice? You are the idiot. Your daughter makes plans as you do and deserves some notice if you want her to babysit. Respect this. Your poor planning skills are not the fault of your daughter. You are the idiot. That money was offered for a purpose, without contingencies. You should have confirmed that someone was free for childcare before making reservations anywhere. It shouldn't be your child's job to take care of your kids, especially at what sounds like pretty last-minute notice, when she's at an age when she's developing a life of her own. Her best friend is leaving soon, and they only have so much time left to enjoy together. That's a big deal to a teenager. Why couldn't you have just rescheduled your outing? Surely in the past, with 3 kids, you've had to adjust days for your special occasion celebrations before. You are the idiot. If the $80 gift had strings attached, you ought to have made that clear from the onset. Introducing conditions retroactively sets the precedence that your gifts aren't really gifts at all, but tools used to manipulate and control. What you did shows you have zero respect for her time and that you expect unquestioning obedience from her. I, female 29, gave birth to my son a few weeks ago. My husband's been super involved throughout my pregnancy and is continuing his support. However, a few months ago we discussed breastfeeding, and he said breastfeeding should be our go-to method to provide our son with all the nutrition he needs. Given my medical history, breastfeeding was possible, but we couldn't know for sure till I tried it. And it hurt like heck. Horrible. Every time I tried to breastfeed, I'd experience pain and discomfort. I tried following different ways to make it easier, but I still got an unpleasant feeling. I decided to switch to formula. My husband thought I made a hasty decision by going with formula. He's done a lot of research on the benefits of breastfeeding and said that not getting breastfed would affect our son's health, impact his growth, and set him up for health issues in the future. I explained my reasons, but he kept bringing it up all the time. Last night he brought it up again after he kept giving me uncomfortable looks in bed while I was feeding our son formula. I asked him why he was staring at me like that, and he went on about the decision I made to use formula. He said he thought I chose formula way too soon and didn't try hard enough to keep breastfeeding, and as a result, I've given up on an opportunity to bond with our son. I was getting annoyed because it seemed like he keeps forgetting why I chose formula. Still, his response was that whatever discomfort I was experiencing, I was selfish, thinking about the short term and not realizing how lack of breastfeeding could affect our son in the future. So basically saying, I chose my comfort over our son's health. In the meanest way, I lost my temper. I told him that no matter how much he reads online about this subject, I'm the one going through this experience and the pain and discomfort, and said that he should respect my choice to use formula and stopped acting like this decision was made out of a lack of care or consideration for our son. And if he's worried formula is expensive, then it is what it is, because if I can't be healthy, then our son can't either. He argued saying, "I'm sorry you got all mad because I was just stating a fact. But I think that as a parent, I'm allowed to at least express my thoughts and concerns about what's been going on." I replied that it didn't seem like he was sharing his opinion, but more like guilt tripping since he does this on the regular. He said that's not true, and you know it. I'm not even mad or anything. I'm just disappointed that you chose this route, that's all. This set the tone for the rest of the night. He got out of bed, grabbed his phone, and walked out. I felt genuinely bad because the way I look at it, he was just expressing his thoughts, and I was so fast to shut him down and treat him as if he isn't the parent and gets an equal say. Am I the idiot? Am I being selfish? Fed is best. If breast milk is so very important to him, there are medical interventions that he can undergo to stimulate his own lactation so that he can breastfeed. It would be selfish of him not to, really, seeing as this is painful and damaging to you, and you've already used your body to grow and birth this baby. Oh, and not the idiot. Not the idiot. He's guilt-tripping you. As much as he has the right as a parent to be included in the decisions of the baby, he does not have the right to tell you what you should do with your body. No one does except you. And not breastfeeding because it causes you pain is a great reason. But you know what else is a good reason? You simply don't want to. Also, if he can research that much on breastfeeding, he should also be able to research that formula is not bad and is absolutely fine for development, especially since half the population has been brought up on it. You could have been meaner, and you'd be justified. I personally would have said, "Oh, you'd be much more disappointed if our baby was dead," or something similar. I almost lost my son to accidental starvation, and I am savage about people who are idiots about formula use. You are not the idiot. Breastfeeding benefits are massively overstated if you have access to clean water, medical care, food, and shelter anyway. So my wife, 35, and I, 36 male, are expecting a daughter. We already have a son who is 2 years old. We agreed that I would name the first baby, and she got to name the second baby. She didn't have any strong opinions or preferences regarding naming our son, so I went with what I thought was a strong, somewhat unique name, but that could just as easily suit a musician as a lawyer or doctor. I picked the name Calvin Heath, the middle name after my brother, who unfortunately passed away, and my wife was fine with it. My wife told me she wants to name our daughter Ever Winter Rain, where Ever is the first name and Winter Rain is the middle name. I don't think this is a good name, and that it isn't fair to our daughter because Ever is a word, and I don't think it passes the Supreme Court justice test. It doesn't sound professional. It's confusing because it's a word, and I don't think it would suit her into adulthood. I suggested Winter as the first name, with a more normal middle name like Emma, so she has options, but my wife refused. But we agreed that she got to pick the name. Am I the idiot if I refuse and don't sign the birth certificate if she wants to name her Ever? We agreed that I get to name the first kid, and she gets to name the second kid unequivocally, so it's an idiot move maybe if I break the agreement, even if it is in our daughter's best interest. Going to go with not the idiot here, just because your wife sucks at naming things. I'm assuming the agreement was choosing the name within reason. That name is dignifiedly hot trash. Ask her, how do you think you'll feel when your daughter runs to us crying, asking that we change your name? Or does it when she turns 18? I guarantee you that she will. It will be a huge ordeal, a huge expense, and a point of resentment from the daughter to the mother for the hurt and torment she will endure growing up. Actually, I disagree and go with everyone's the idiot here. It's a unique name, but OP and his wife both agree he would name the first. She would name the second. That was their mistake. Both parents should have input on children's names. I completely see OP's point, but per his agreement, his wife is also justified. Could they possibly compromise to Eve or something? Not the idiot. That child has to live with that name. My mother named me Shad. I get two reactions. Your name is Shade? Shed? Shh. Or it's Shad like the fish? Life is hard enough without having a stupid name. Imagine the terrible things people will do to her and say to her about the name. Yikes! I'm not trying to be rude, but her taste in names is middle school fan fiction levels of cringe. You're not an idiot for not wanting your kid named that way. Unfortunately, it's the agreement you made, and you are the idiot if you don't uphold it. Unfortunately, you made the incorrect assumption she would pick a more traditional name. That was the wrong call. LOL. My husband, 25, and I, 23 female, purchased our first home 6 months ago, a 4-bedroom home, as we hope to have children soon. My mother-in-law, 52, and father-in-law, 51, are currently living with us for the last 3 months as they are having their home remodeled. I am a very private person and protective of my belongings. I grew up with 5 siblings and my stuff was always stolen, so I make sure that I have my stuff and that no one touches it without asking. We have a lock on our bedroom door, and we lock it when we leave each day because we have personal items and don't need anyone snooping. I had cameras installed in the house because our neighbor's house got broken into last month, and if that were to happen to us, I would want proof and to find out who it was, so we had them installed. Well, my husband and I left out of town for the weekend to get away and be alone. The camera in our bedroom notified us of movement on our way home, and I was surprised as our room is locked. I looked at the footage, and there are my in-laws going through my stuff, and my mother-in-law threw away my toys, and she ripped the sheets off our bed and she threw them into the restroom and ripped them up. I don't know why. And my father-in-law was throwing out my husband and my clothes from our drawers. My husband and I were furious. When we got home, we saw our room and asked them why they would do this. They said they were sure we were hiding, that we were secretly pregnant, and wanted proof, ultrasound photos, to show their friends they would be grandparents. I was furious, and I told them to get out of our home and that they need to pay for the items that were damaged. They still haven't apologized for their behavior or reimbursed us, and I will not allow them into our home until they do. My husband agrees with me, but his siblings are angry that we kicked their parents out because now one of them has to take them in. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot, but the in-laws are feral. Your husband's siblings are angry because now they will have to be responsible for their feral parents and are scared of what they might destroy in the next house. Stand your ground. If no one wants them, they can go to a motel. Yep, no one wants them. Also, as someone who had an extremely traumatic pregnancy, where the doctors and I weren't sure I'd carry to term, I can tell you, having people try to out you is torture. It's your choice when you tell people when the time comes, if that is your plan. Anyone trying to out you can jump in the lake. Not the idiot. They weren't looking for ultrasound photos. They didn't need to destroy and throw out your possessions to do that. I can't fathom why they would do that unless it was out of pure maliciousness. Tally up the cost of the destroyed and damaged items and ask them again to reimburse you. If they refuse, just sue them. That's what small claims court is for. Then put them out of your lives until they come back to their senses. If your husband's siblings are so bent out of shape over your tossing them out, they can take them in and count the days until their parents start destroying their property. Change your locks and any alarm codes they could know.